All children deserve to be in childcare facilities that provide the love and the care they need to be safe and to grow up healthy, confident, and ready to learn. This training video is designed to help you develop the skills necessary to monitor family childcare homes that you use in your Child Care Development Fund. You want these homes to give children the love and the care that they need to be safe and to grow into healthy and confident children. We want to make sure that they meet standards for good, safe, and nurturing care. As you and others monitor family childcare homes and relative providers, you want to make sure you know the tribal health and safety and CCDF standards that apply. You need to know the standards, what they mean, how you determine if providers are in compliance, and how to use a checklist that aligns with those standards. You may have different standards in your relative home as opposed to your licensed family childcare homes. Let's get started. Before you make a visit to a home, you need to review the home's file, look at the last visit, the time, ages of the children, check the household members listed, review for any areas of previous non-compliance and plans of correction. Prepare technical assistance materials appropriate for the home, keeping in mind the ages and stages of the children who are in care. You never go empty-handed. We know that sometimes you and/or the provider are anxious. If it is your first monitoring visit, the visit with a particular provider or a provider who has had problems.
My job is to make sure they are following policy as those kids are in their care, and the first priority is the safety of the kids. And also, there may be times where maybe they may be having a situation with the child or children, they don't have access to resources to help out with those kids or those children.
The monitor plays many roles. She's a teacher, a resource person, an inspector, and an enforcer, and has to learn how to do them all well. She has to be able to communicate effectively. When you as the monitor are honest and trusting with the provider, the respect is more likely to be mutual. Developing a good relationship with the provider is essential to the job of monitoring.
I feel like as a regulator, we're a teacher, and I think it's safe to say, friends with those providers, you got to gain their trust, and they got to gain your trust.
During this video, we will be observing a monitoring visit to a licensed child care home and a monitoring visit to a relative provider child care home. Both you and the provider may have feelings of anxiety going into a visit, whether it is your first visit or your 10th. You may have a tight knot in the pit of your stomach as you drive to the visit, and the provider may have the same feeling as he or she waits for you to come. Feeling this way is perfectly normal for you and for the provider. If you are new to the job, feel free to let the provider know that you are too feeling a little bit nervous. Knowing that you have similar anxieties may set the provider at ease, but make sure that you are aware enough of your own emotions that they don't overwhelm you. When the provider opens the door, you greet her or him with a friendly smile as you walk into the home. You are aware of and can see what is going on in the home, including the baby in the provider's arms. If you don't know the provider, introduce yourself and explain what the process will be for the visit. Have a brief conversation to set the provider at ease. You may want to show her the checklist and let her know that you will be observing the home and writing things on the form.
What'd Grandma fix you today? Pancakes. That looks good. Yeah.
Before you start to monitor with the checklist, it's good to take a few minutes to observe how the provider works with children. Watch the children and the provider and whatever is going on in the home.
It's still made into a bed right now.
You just go check that out.
When they get up, it's a futon bed.
Futon bed. Okay.
So when they wake up, good.
Yes.
I set it up into a couch.
Okay.
This is where they get here at 5:30 in the morning.
Woo, y'all get here early. Mama's gotta go to work
Their
though,
mom
don't she?
brings them in and
Yeah.
puts them in bed, and then they sleep till about 7 or 8 or so, and then get up, and then we make the bed into a couch, and they play and watch cartoons.
I like working with family child care homes. Of course, they're not as big as the centers. Visits that we go and do, but they're kind of like a relative provider, so to speak. But they have a different policy that they have to follow. Sometimes they and it's kind of personal. And when I say that is when you go into a home, they may just have this one section area that's just for the daycare, and this is a section area where they maybe have a snack time. But you also look in the different areas that may not be access to the kids. But as far as our policy, we just have to go in and check. And sometimes, they may not want you to do that, but you just let them ahead of time and say, hey, I know the kids aren't going here. You keep this closed, but just for safety precautions, we just have to look in there. Okay. We just have to peep in there if that's okay?
Yeah, sure. This is mine and Papa's room.
Okay.
It is important to inspect all rooms in the home, even if children don't normally have access to them. Now let's look at a play area. If this is where the children play, and in other play areas, check the play equipment for safety. No sharp edges, safety plugs and outlets, no bottle of medicine left where children can reach it, or other hazards, and that the equipment is age appropriate. This is especially important in child care homes where infants, toddlers, and preschoolers are being cared for together in the same play areas. As a reminder of supervision in a home setting, you could say, remember that supervision is very important. It is best to be in the same room with the children at all times. As you inspect, be sure to observe how the children and the provider interact. Observe the interaction between the children and the provider. Check that the equipment is in good repair. Observe for other hazards in the play area. Check of age-appropriate equipment. Let's take a look at the bathroom now. When you go into the bathroom, there are things that could be harmful in this room. Do you notice anything under the counter that is not appropriate for children? It is important to check the labels on bath product to check for hazards. Ask the provider to open cabinets to make sure that hazardous cleaning supplies are out of the reach of children with child-proof locks. Make sure toothpaste, razors, mouthwashes are out of the reach of children.
You're heavy. Are able to go to the bathroom in our potty train. She has a soap and a paper towel dispenser. We always make sure that there's nothing underneath the sink that might be harmful to the kids.
From her angle, the monitor could not see the bottle in the back part of the cabinet. You always need to check carefully.
It looks like there's just tissue there. Some of them have a little stool if they can't reach the sink. And things that are kept away from kids and accessible, they keep high up. We recommend that.
Are there stools to help the children reach? Are there soaps and sanitizers in easy reach of children, and paper towels instead of cloth towels? Check the hot water to make sure it doesn't get too hot. Are the toilets and sinks clean and in good repair? Is this a good location for a plug-in fragrance diffuser? You may want to discuss this with the provider. Is there a covered trash can for paper towels? You will want to check the diaper changing area and the diaper changing procedures used to prevent the spread of disease. It is important that cleaning products and other hazardous materials be properly labeled. This changing table sanitizer in the Windex bottle was mislabeled. Is the garbage or trash can covered and not overfilled? If the diaper changing area is here or elsewhere, is the table non-porous and clean with disposable covers for each diaper changing? Do you see any areas of non-compliance in this picture? The diaper changing area should be clear of all items except a changing pad. Now, we'll be checking the first aid kit.
This is it. And the provider keeps it locked up in this little shelf here to be inaccessible so the kids won't get into that. And this is the items that are required. Bandages.
While here, check the contents of the first aid kits and whether they are included on field trips. And now, let's continue to check a number of areas for safety.
Oh, you still keep them
Yeah.
high?
No, well, they're down here, but we've got that.
Okay. Oh, the safety lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there safety latches on cabinets for proper storage of cleaning supplies?
Maybe suggest that you put this up high. And you may have used it yesterday.
No, I was cleaning and
Oh.
I set it down and forgot
Okay.
to pick it back up.
You can
before
go ahead
I-
and put that up where it's inaccessible. And I like that you got this up here up high. It's away from the kids.
Yes.
Always, we always
I've got-
want to
actually
keep
got a
things
plan.
like that inaccessible to the children.
I actually burned her eggs. They're sitting right
That's all right.
there.
Let's see if I can. That's good. Okay, so cool. Yeah.
I was gonna hang that right up there on that wall.
Okay.
But I can do that.
Okay. Turn on. You want to make sure you check this because the batteries could go dead. And there you go. There it went off.
Other safety alarms, such as carbon monoxide detectors, should be checked as well.
Fire ambulance, that's good. Marshal service, poison control. All right. So I see you do fire drills.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Tornado drills too? All right. That's good, Sheila.
Notice how the monitor acknowledges good practice by the provider. Be sure to check for safety plugs on outlets.
Okay. Another precaution that we check is the outlet covers. As you can see, the top one is covered, the bottom one's in use. And that is for the safety of the child, because sometimes kids get inquisitive and they like to. There is a mirror.
Check to make sure that unstable furniture, such as mirrors or chests of drawers, are properly anchored against the wall.
Glass, and kids could stumble and could fall, especially young kids that are walking, and fall against it, possibly cut their finger, cut their hand, or it could fall over on them like this. So just make sure you don't keep items like that in the room where you keep your little ones. Where they do take naps is where they're, this is a pack and play that they are allowed to use, but one thing in the pack and plays, they can't have blankets in here, which you see, which there's no infant in there at this moment, but there's blankets in here and there's stuffed animals. These aren't allowed in the pack and play where an infant is napping due to hazards such as they could smother, if they roll over and get wrapped up in the blanket, or a stuffed animal. Also, they should have fitted sheets, as you see right here, on the mattress where the child lays.
Do the cribs meet federal requirements? You need to make sure that you are aware of these. Are they sturdy and in good repair? A firm, well-fitting mattress and no soft bedding or toys in the cribs. No soft bedding in cribs. Infants must have supervision during nap time. Always place the baby on his or her back to sleep. Now, let's look at nutrition and food safety.
Just called me yesterday and she's gonna come by next week.
Okay, is it
Cindy.
Cindy? Do you know what food program she's with? Okay, but right now you're not on it
Not
yet.
on it
Okay,
yet.
she's gonna come by. Okay, and that's optional if you want to enroll in that. It's not something
Yeah, well,
that's
she's gonna
required.
come by and talk
Okay.
to me.
And it
so
it could be beneficial to you, especially with the kids being out,
yeah.
because kids like to eat.
Oh, yeah.
Next, we move into the kitchen. Is the refrigerator at the correct temperature? using your thermometer. Are medicines safely stored if in the kitchen with no open bottles, inadvertently left on the counter?
Check for that. And this is, I'm assuming, probably maybe for her personal use. It looks like there's expiration date on that, which is probably isn't any good because it expired October 2013. And probably bring that attention to the provider.
It is important to check that the counters, sinks, and other preparation areas are clean. Did the provider wash her or his hands before preparing lunch? Do you see any violations here? Perishable food should not be left on the counter. It should be covered and refrigerated. Observe the eating area. Is it clean and sanitary? Are all of the children's hands washed before and after? Are the food portions adequate, and are seconds allowed? Is the provider aware of, and how does she or he accommodate any food allergies of children in care? Is there food allergy information posted? Check high chairs for cleanliness and safety straps. Are the high chairs clean? And do they have safety straps? Are the food portions adequate? Do the children wash their hands before and after each mealtime? Is the provider aware of the children's food allergies? Is there food allergy information posted? Let's look at the outdoor play area. If you are in the home when the children are on the playground, you can observe playtime in action. Is the equipment age appropriate? This is important in family childcare if infants, toddlers, and preschoolers are on the playground together. Are the fence and gates in good repair if fencing is required? Fences are important for keeping pets and other animals off the playground. Is the outdoor equipment in good repair? Check for nuts and bolts and sharp edges.
Next week.
Okay, next week. Well, I might come out next week if I'm around. Okay.
Do the fall or use zones have the required impact absorbing
Pretty
materials?
much. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is this your horse?
Uh-huh.
You like to ride it?
Want to pet it?
Or I can pet it. Yeah, I can do that. Looks like his handle broke.
Broken playground equipment is a violation that must be added to the checklist for corrective action. Water hazards are not a safe area for children to be playing near. The boards and rusty barrels are also safety hazards. The boards should be removed to prevent them from falling on a child, and the rusty barrel could have sharp, dangerous edges that, if not removed, could cause an injury. You would also want to check the bucket next to the door to make sure it is not full of water. Remind the provider that when children are playing outdoors, they should be supervised and cautioned to not climb on the storm shelter. While outside, you might check the storm shelter.
Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. This is a nice storm shelter. Do you keep like a radio or a little bag that you take in there?
Yeah, I keep my
Flashlight?
backpack. And
Yeah.
there's the radio, and
Okay. So, I didn't see the radio.
we
right
bring
there.
our blankets and whatever we snacks
there's
and
the
whatever we
radio right
need,
there.
and make sure we have all our batteries and
Everything.
flashlights and whatever.
Well, that's good. That's a nice shelter, Sheila.
Equipment must be in good repair. There must be adequate supervision at all times. Impact absorbing material must be deep enough. Hazards must be removed from the area. At the end of the visit, it is time to complete the monitoring checklist and to discuss the findings of the inspection with the provider. It is always good to find something positive in the program to share before going over the violations found and corrections needed. Make sure you leave some helpful technical assistance materials.
For the kids right here. Okay, any questions for me on anything? So now I'm just going to ask you, you still have your billing guide? I mean, not billing guide, requirement booklet for registered childcare providers?
Sure I do.
Probably have that in your paperwork.
Yes.
Good. I just want to make sure
All my yellow
that you have this.
So with certain.
Yes. And it just talks about your duties and responsibilities as a provider. Talks about record keeping, which you're doing that, and that's good. And health and safety training that you've had, and one of those is CPR. That's good. You're involved with your kids, and that's good. Your daughter's lucky to have you, and just want to make sure that you have that photo. This is a copy of your visit. You always get the carbon copy, which is this right here. The original goes back with me, and this is just to keep in your paperwork. You know, maybe you keep copies of your billing.
Yeah, I do.
There you go. Okay. What advice would I give to a new licensed worker? Oh gosh, there's a lot of things you could say. Be flexible in your work. Respect. You know, that's always a big thing. You know, you're going to come across people you may not want to work with, but that's part of life, no matter what job you have. And somehow you got to meet each other, that medium line there, and work with one another. And I think with licensing, it's always changing. I know looking back 20 plus years ago versus now, there's been a lot of changes. And you're not ever going to memorize everything in that policy book. That's why I tell my providers, because some of them will say, we don't know it word for word like licensing. I don't know it word for word, and I never will learn it word for word, but be familiar with it. But, you know your policy, know your rules and regulations. That way it makes your job a little easier, and be open-minded, because what works for one provider isn't going to work for this provider. Everybody's different.
This video is intended to be a snapshot of what you might find as you monitor your providers. While the materials presented are very comprehensive, not every situation you might encounter can be addressed. You need to be ready for anything and apply the skills as well as the information presented to meet each new challenge. The role you have is important, and we hope this video, along with the Family Child Care Home Training Manual, will give you the support you need to protect the health and safety of children in care in the child care homes you monitor.